with this being said, I would like to introduce all of you. So for Team Yellow, we have Omar. For Team Black, we have Victor. For Team White, we have Adimar. And for Team Gold, we have Lukas. And finally, for Team Red, we have Sava. I hope you guys are doing very good. So I have run before the random selection to see who's going to be starting first. And we will be starting with Team Gold, followed by Team Yellow, followed by Team Black, followed by Team Red, and finally by Team White. Team Gold, your initial statements will start in 5 seconds. Did I put my timer on? You can put your mic on right now and start speaking.
Just to test again, you guys hear me?
Yes, we hear you pretty well.
Perfect.
And you can start right now.
All right. Hey guys, my name is Lukas Koppermann. Actually, do you mind turning off your mic because I hear the echo?
Sorry.
All right. Hi guys, my name is Lukas Koppermann, and I'm running for Team Gold as president in Madrid. And I'm a German second-year BIR student, and I've been part of the Segovia football team, 180 degrees, class rep, and the founder of the IE leagues. Now, I want to change your experience at IE for the better. The times we're witnessing now are something never seen before, and let's be honest, they have been tough. Therefore, my team's goal and vision is to make sure that every single one of us has opportunity to make the best out of his and hers time at IE. That means being able to socialize with both campuses, become one student body, being able to enjoy the sport you love, whether you're part of a club or not, and whenever you want, with the help of our IE leagues, being able to live up to your academic potential by improving the quality with and within degrees, and being able to be part of a greener IE. But most importantly, being able to see the change you want to happen, that are things actually getting done. But in the end, making the best of it means something different to all of us. And these are just a few ways of how we want to make sure that everybody has the same opportunity to do so. And let's be honest, we all deserve some golden times now. Thank you very much.
You still have 46 seconds. You sure you don't want to use them? Okay, thank you. We will be proceeding with Omar from Team Yellow. Omar, I'll be turning my mic and your 2 minutes starts now.
Good afternoon, everyone. Before starting, we would like to raise two important points. First of all, we hope that everyone in the IE community is safe. And if you're not, we wish you a very, very speedy recovery. Secondly, Team Yellow would like to express its gratitude to all the administration, the debate club, the Stork, and Khombari for organizing this in very hard circumstances. Who we are, what characterizes us. We think we're the perfect mix between experience. We're very lucky to have experienced people on our team who have run previously in elections. They have hands-on experience on what campaigning is like, but also on the daily circumstances you have to face in this type of situation. And so we wanted to use this experience and improve it in order to make for you the perfect package, the perfect campaign. And so we kept talking, and we realized that basically the IE's biggest problem is that it's a very bureaucratic institution. To go from step 1 to step 2, you need about 2 or 3 other steps, which doesn't make any sense. So our main goal would be to make these small little changes that will get the decision-making process in IE flow. And once we do that, this is where the ambition comes in. This is where we take the huge step. We're very privileged and we're very honored to work with Culture, which is the biggest organization or IE-led student organization for parties in Madrid, other than Alcatraz, which video was, alongside Mathieu, who's the co-founder, who's also on our team, and that will help us a lot when it comes to politics. We can't wait to talk to you guys about our propositions in the following statements, but for now, if there's one team with enough experience to make proper decisions, it's us. If there's one team with enough risk takers who will change campus life on IE, it's Team Yellow. And if there is one team you must vote for, it's Team Yellow. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Omar, for your statements. Now we will be moving on to Team Black. So, Victor, you have the floor. Start it.
Hello, guys. Can you hear me? Can you all hear me? Yeah. Okay. Dear fellow students, my name is Victor Haymann, and I am running as president of Team Black. I am fortunate enough to work alongside with an amazing team composed of Maisa Hadif, Maria Alarcon, Diego Ortiz, Mohamed Fatih, and Sebastian Schramm as co-president for Segovia. You may have seen Team Black's proposals, and you may have been surprised by the difference between other teams' proposals and ours. We believe that IE students do not only deserve ideas, but concrete projects. We were accused of cheating, but the truth is that we were doing what every team should have been doing, asking around for people's need as IE students. So we did that research, calling in one-to-one dozens of club leaders, friends of ours, to better understand, and we partially did because you cannot satisfy everyone. And I come from a background where I'm not involved in clubs, but I know a lot about the IE people and the IE community. And we came up with some proposals. For instance, people told us that they did not know about the current SD. And we have created a WhatsApp hotline so people can reach out to us at any time, starting right after this debate. For instance, people in clubs and sports told us that they were lacking money for the initiative. We found some money, and I'm quite sure that this would be subject to debate. For instance, people told us that they had a hard time launching a startup in Spain because they didn't know anyone who could help legally. Well, we found a solution. We reached out to the law society and we agreed that some law student could be taught how to and then help their fellow students achieving their goals. I am not doubting that all these ideas will be subject of debate, and we are confident that promises will be held. Finally, I would like to congratulate you, running candidates and fellow speakers today, Adimar, Sava, Lukas, and Omar, for participating, and Oussama for leading the debate. Good luck, everyone.
Thank you, Victor, for your statement. So now we'll be moving to Sava. He will be representing Red Team. Sava, you have the floor.
Okay, test, can you hear me? Okay, perfect. Well, thank you, Oussama. First of all, as a part of Team Red, I would like to thank the organizing team, Cecile, Clint, Francia, Laura, Ortega, Oussama, and Victoria. I would like to thank all of you representatives for doing this debate and finding time to do this debate. And finally, I would like to thank everybody behind their small screens watching this debate in these turbulent times. I know that, these times are quite hard, and, it takes a lot to devote some of your time to watch this. Now, I would like also to thank the president of my team, Mr. Filiberto, for giving me the opportunity to speak to you today here. Now, as part of Team Red, for most of those who don't know me, my name is Sava Pavlovic, and for those who know me, you've probably seen me around Madrid and Segovia campus. I'm a fourth-year Law and International Relations student, and I've been here at IE for quite some time. Now, the reason why I agreed to be running as Vice President for Team Red and Academic Officer for Madrid campus is because I believe that IE has a lot of potential, and there is a lot of potential within the student government. And we in Team Red, we believe that, after this crisis is over and after we come in September to university, there is a lot to do, and there is a lot to improve, and there is things we have to think about. There is things we have to think about how we do it differently. There are things that we should enrich in our society. And as a part of Team Red, we have a few proposals. Now, most of you, or some of you, have seen on our Instagram page our proposals, and let's categorize them in this initial statement in let's say 5 big groups. Now, the first thing that we'd like to do is something called IE Ambassadors. This is a new initiative by us that I will explain later on in the 4-minute section of the debate. The second big proposal is the greener IE. We are witnessing how such a COVID situation can cause us to kind of reflect on how we used to do things up till now, and how we should go and move forward. Now, the third and the fourth are connected to academic rules, and the fifth one is connected to spring ball. Now,
Sava, you are over time. you get 10 seconds to finish your last statement about the categories that you have.
Yeah, well, nothing really. Now we are going to have this debate for 2 hours more, and I think I'll have enough time to explain it later. Well, thank you, Oussama, and I yield the floor back to you.
All right. So now we are moving to Team White's president, and the only female that is leading an actual team and being president of a team. Adimar, thank you for being here. You have the floor starting now.
Thank you. Can you all hear me? Yeah, perfect. Okay. Good afternoon, fellow candidates and IE community. My name is Adimar Hernandez, and I'm running to be student government president with Team White. I first want to thank the Stork, the debate clubs, and Campus Life for organizing this event. The reason why I'm here today is because myself and my team, just like you, want the best for IE University. Our goal is not only to demonstrate that we are qualified to do so, but that if given the opportunity, we will be a stronger voice that represents you, the students. Our main aim is to focus on the values of honesty and transparency for all students, especially community leaders within IE. That entails class representatives, administration, professors, club coordinators, and of course, the student government. We believe that that is the only way that we can guarantee that all of you are content with what the people that represent you are doing. We want to be clear about what we are doing and how it is helping you as students. This is why our main goal is to offer new and what we believe to be long-lasting frameworks that are not generic and that will indeed tackle the issues that we face in our day-to-day as IE University students. And these frameworks will be adapted to fit any type of individual, since we believe that we as student government will be the voice of all, including those that further our education and try their best to make us feel at home. Therefore, we are glad to be here to share in details the things we wish to propose to make our upcoming academic year the best after this pandemic. So vote White because we want to make it clear for you.
Adimar, you have 20 seconds left. You sure you don't want to use them, or do you want to stop here? All right, so Victor is out. I think he has problems connecting. I think he will connect right back. Okay, good. So moving on, we're going to be moving to our second chapter. And for this one, you will have 4 minutes to talk about your academics and community agenda for the university for next year if you're elected. Now, we know that academics and community development are two of the main pillars of every single government that would want to lead university to a greater place. Can you guys please talk to us about how you're planning to change the academics or enforce the academics and make sure that we have a better community, taking into consideration the status of student government and taking into consideration the current possibilities you guys will have. We will be starting with the same order as before. So Lukas will start with his 4 minutes, and this will start right now.
Again, hey everybody, thank you for listening. We want to start off with some of our main proposals. But before, we want to make sure that our main vision is clear. That is realistic changes. Like at the end of the day, we can make you big promises, but we want to make sure that we actually can stick to our word. Some of those are standardization, consistency between subjects, professors, and the grading system. For example, some BBA students sometimes go less prepared for a certain exam than others, only due to the professor's focus on what he wants to talk about. We want to change that. Furthermore, we want to make sure that the degrees are treated equally. Duals with law, and PLE are the same subjects, and oftentimes they're taken for granted, meaning that it's harder for some than for the other. Now, how can we achieve that? We want to make sure that the professors, just like we have a library, might have like a little library, a little room in either campuses where they can work together, interact with each other, and plan the subjects together, which will lead to our goal of standardization. Furthermore, we want to make sure that everybody has the same exchange and internship opportunities for all degrees. We want to make sure that even the young degrees have the same chances, whether it's behavioral sciences, data, architecture, PLE, economics. We understand that EIE was born as a business school, and it makes sense that counts on more options for BBA students, but at the end, we're all part of it. We want to make sure that they have the same chances, every degree. We want to make sure that the curricular trips for all degrees, not just for some, that are corresponding to the syllabus. We believe the academic experience at IE is to focus on the classroom. We should think about learning beyond it. That is part of being active in trips. We want to make sure that IE sponsors those trips. That is all part of the same thing. Greater visibility, especially transparency, so you know what's happening. Meeting daily, weekly, and monthly meetings with the class reps. So we have a constant flow of information and know what kind of issues you have. We want to make sure that degrees like architecture or design which are sometimes even conceived as alien to the rest of the students, just because the nature of their studies is different from the rest. They need specialized rooms and material. They should be more integrated in the IE community. We would propose that also architecture and design scholarships are based on their academic performance for the following year. Now, moving on to our final point. IE is known for their network. We want to take advantage of that. For instance, creating internship opportunities or shadowing programs sponsored by IE. Now moving on to community, which we think is very important. At the end of the day, the student life is what makes our experience great. One of those is the IE Leagues, which I founded last year in Segovia campus. We help to engage people into playing the sports they love and united the campuses. Next year, we want to make sure every campus has that chance. And for every sport, there's demand. At the end, we will make sure that the winner of Madrid, the winner of Segovia, play together in the grand finale, hoping to be an amazing sports event where both campuses unite and come together. Last year, we had around 120 players. Next year, it's going to be far more. We want to have a monthly report of what the student government has done or is working on for more transparency. We want to have a bimester survey for student government's performance, online suggestion box for students, monthly meetings. We want to improve the announcement of events with at least 2 weeks' notice. We want to have an event calendar for the university. We want to create a volunteering platform where it's a win-win situation, both IE and the experience of the volunteer. And let's hope not again, but in the Corona example, we want to have sport events. And in worst case, we move them online. Just like we want to have a talent show, which we can all move online. That people, whether it's FIFA tournaments, 2K tournaments, talent shows, singing, dancing, we can all share with our fellow students. At the end, social life is also about coming together and party together. We have already contacted several clubs, whether it's Flava, Anda, Loco, to make your student life better. When you come to Madrid as a Segovia campus and you don't have a place to stay with, we want to create a WhatsApp group that makes it possible for you to live with the students you can.
Thank you for your statement, and now we'll be moving on to the second team with Omar. So Omar is not the president of the team, however, he is running for academic officer, and I think that this is a part that is pretty important for your team, especially representing it. I will turn off my microphone right now, and yeah, you can start. Omar, we can hear you pretty well. No. Even the people in the chat are confirming this. Your microphone is not working well. So I believe that Omar is trying to connect once again. And yeah, so in order not to waste time, I would like to go back to Lukas and just to point out that your program is, according to your campaign, more for standardization. So you believe that having professors interact with each other would help having a more standard program and a more standardized program, right? Please just answer with a yes or a no and a very few statements of 5 seconds.
Yes, at the end of the day, of course, there are differences, but we believe that every student should have the same equality and opportunity to achieve the same grades, and it shouldn't be based on professors. At the end, it's the same subject, it's the same syllabus, and one person should not decide that.
Well, since I think that Omar is having a problem login, we would be moving to Team Black with Victor, and then Omar would go right after Team White. Now, Victor, you would have 4 minutes starting now to talk to us about academics and community development, taking into consideration that you've said something pretty important to have Sebastian as president in Segovia. How would this work? How would the division of the tasks work in academics and community if we're one campus?
So first of all, to start with this Sebastian situation and this kind of change in the process, Team Black believed that although we are one university and one community, we are two campuses. The preoccupation in Madrid are not the same as the one in Segovia, and that works the other way around. And so we saw that having two kind of authorities in two different campuses would be beneficial for everyone. Now coming to the community development program, we have a lot of great ideas that I think will cheer everyone up. The first one, the one that I guess we will debate a little bit later, is this student government money fund. We have promised to find at least 20,000 euros to fund clubs and sport teams whenever campus life cannot or doesn't want to pay for this matter. Where are we going to find the money? We're going to find the money in the events. I have been fortunate enough to enjoy IE people help to launch Valmania, and so now I can say that I know a bit about events and how the money works in this field. There's also the Green Challenge. The Green Challenge is a great initiative that we have initiated with Thirst project in Madrid. We want to provide IE with this kind of marketing competition where regarding NGOs projects focused on one NGO, and the winner would find himself offered a 6-month placement internship. We already had some further discussion with some NGOs, and we believe that not much time after the quarantine, we will be able to provide you with a name if in case we are elected. And then, as for community development, lastly, a program that would enable students to have some master and bachelor kind of a mentoring program between master and bachelors that will enable bachelors that have interest in real estate, green subjects, to have one figure to speak with and to get information about. Concerning the academics, we have created a project alongside with the Law Society for entrepreneurs trying to set up a company in Spain legally, and I mean, I did it myself as well as someone in my team, and we found that not having Spanish as a first language was very difficult for us. So we teamed up with the society and we said, okay, why don't we do something together? And we teach students, law students, how to set up companies in their own country so they can actually help the others. They're all the IE students. So that's something that is discussed a lot. And then one stressing point in the program is that, as you guys all know, IE is going to go from 3,000 to 9,000 students. What does that mean? That means that entry requirements may go down. Why don't we have any interest in having entry requirements go down? Well, this would obviously decrease the value of our degree. And that's why we propose that some students be consultants in the admission office, not having a decision power, but having a consultancy power, word, knowing the high school, knowing the countries, knowing the high school diplomas, and understanding the transcripts. Lastly, the communication. We wanted to make everything clear. We know that some people have had some troubles getting in touch with the student gov. Lastly, okay, WhatsApp hotline already created, number of the account, and Insta for each campus, because two communication, one university.
Thank you, Victor, for your statement. So I see that you have covered both academics and community. Can you please turn up your mic? Because I can still hear myself. Moreover, just one simple question. You said there's going to be a 20,000 euros, and that's something that is concerning to everyone because it's a pretty interesting amount of money. And you said because you know the event. What events are those precisely that you're talking about? How will you generate the money? Is it your proper events that you're willing to spend on students? And what about the 20% discounts? I will leave the floor to you right now for a good 15 seconds.
Can you hear me? So I have just posted in the IEU Black Team Instagram story the details of how I would get to such amount. I teamed up with private partners, so El Grupo La La La, that has La Queselia, well known in Madrid, is willing to give. So I made a deal with them saying that I'm going to enable students and classes dinners to happen in these restaurants, which for which we have negotiated a 20% commission out of every student coming in a class dinner to have a meal over there. And then obviously the Freshers Week and the Winter Week that we want to implement. Now you guys, I mean, you can trust me. You can trust me. That's my job. Like that's my day-to-day job. An event like One in Liberty on the first day of the year makes approximately 20,000 revenues. Okay, from which they get at least 30% of commission, which is 6,000 euros. What if we made that money belong to the university and to the students? I can tell you that because I organized myself in Casa Suecia, and this is in the proposal on Instagram right now. It makes the first night makes of the year makes 12,000, let's say, and we get 20 to 25%, which is still a very interesting amount of money. And then that's 2 events, right? We can do events all year long. We have 2 main weeks in which we believe that we can even raise more than 20,000. And I think that it has to be clear to everyone that this is not false premises. This is my job. Valmania is going to be included in there, obviously, because if I propose something, it has to be for everyone. So, like, I am not going to take that money, and I'm going to put that money into the SD fund. And I think that's very important because I benefit all year long from IE people willing to come to the events, and I think that's a fair reward.
All right. So far you've been mentioning all those great things about Valmania and those places that are based mainly in Madrid. But I think you also believe that the 2 campuses are different. So I think you guys would be reaching another agreement in Segovia, right? All right. Thank you. I take this nodding of your head as a yes. And now I would be moving to the 4th team with Sava in the red team. Sava, you will have 4 minutes to talk to us about academics and community management. You will tell us how you would implement your proposals. And yeah, please, you have the floor.
Well, thank you. Can you hear me? I'm sorry because of the mic situation. Yeah, perfect. Well, to be fair, the red team has not had, we don't work, we plan to devote our time to the student government, you know, so we don't work outside. But let's talk about the important stuff. Now, the first thing that I would like to tell you is that we've initiated this idea called the IE ambassadors, and people that follow us on Instagram know what it means. So basically we have currently, if I'm not mistaken, we have 16 different degrees, including the dual degrees and all the combined degrees at IE. And we believe that the student delegate body is a little bit too big now to be able to give any sort of channel from the students to the administration of IE. Now, what we're trying to do is we're trying to create a body of students that represent the degrees. So if we have 16 degrees and our proposal is 2 students, preferably gender equal, basically 1 male and 1 female student, that these students are going to be the representative of each degree towards the IE administration, so that we will have kind of a more holistic approach, if you allow me to say that, to the problems and inquiries that specific degrees ask. Now, preferably these students are going to be the ones that are longer at IE, you know, let's say 3rd, 4th, and 5th year, people that have been already for a long time there and know the current issues that are facing IE. Now, the second proposal, and the one that has been the most controversial, is the one about the participation and attendance. Now, as a student delegate, I've been a student delegate for my degree, and every year in the student delegate body, there's been issues raised to the IE administration about the attendance counting towards participation, and students try to change that, and student governments try to let's say force IE administration to not take into account attendance, and we know that this is almost impossible since this is the official policy of IE. Now, what we are aiming for is, so Oussama, when you first came to IE, the first week you had a meeting with your the department, with the department of your degree, and they told you that you have mandatory attendance 100%, 30% of them are justified. And students tend to think, yeah, okay, so these 30% I can leave whenever I want. And in a way that is, kind of, like a normal train of thought, right? If somebody tells you 30% are justified, you're going to think that yeah, it's okay to miss. Now, what we want to achieve is we want to have clear guidance. So the professor comes to the first class of every year and he tells you, okay, just as much we have, I don't know, 40% final exam, 20% midterm exam, 50% participation. And in this participation, we will or we will not include attendance. And this will create kind of a certainty within students whether they are allowed to miss those 30% in general, or should they concentrate about missing the least amount of sessions. Now, when it comes to community, the first one is our community developer, Alexander, is going to be working on kind of bringing the American-style sports to IE. So we have a lot of teams. We have very good teams. For example, the IE rugby club in Madrid has been competing in a very, very high level in Madrid. And we want to kind of encourage our students to go to these events. We want to organize buses to these events. We want to encourage the participation that will help our teams compete in their leagues, in their respective leagues. Now, this is a very clear proposal that we're having. And the last proposal that we're having is regarding the very famous spring ball, which unfortunately we didn't have this year. Now, I've been already to 3 spring balls. They were all quite different. The first 2 were a sit-down dinner. The third one was a bit, let's say experimental, and they rented out the theater in Madrid. And we believe that there was a lot of discontent with IE students. So what we try to do, and 10 seconds will be enough. What we try to do is we are going to say, okay, you have 3 proposals. We're going to do deals with 3 different types of student balls, where students are going to be able to choose one of the 3, and then, through the values of democracy, they're going to be choosing the ones that they want most. We're going to do that through Stork or through any other means of communication. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sava, for this statement. So basically, as you guys will have understand, Sava is mainly talking about making a clear distinction between the participation and attendance, right, and running more community events. Now, I think, as I don't have any questions, I think we'd be moving to Team White with Adimar in order to tell us about their academics and their community development.
Can you hear me? Thank you, moderator, again for the floor. Since we have 2 minutes for each topic, I'm going to be short and clear. Our first proposal concerning academics is financial reevaluations and readjustments. Team-wide understands how important university education is and how expensive it can be here at IE. With the COVID-19 pandemic, many are experiencing financial hardships and need help. Following the initiative undertaken by many students, one of our top priorities will be pushing for the university to reevaluate students' financial situations and readjust or award new financial aid packages. Our second is to continue standardization. There is still a lot of variation across across classes and how students are graded, particularly in exams and in participation. We hope to continue efforts to standardize academic grading policies and their overall execution by professors. 3. More options in study. We want to see more opportunities for students to explore their fields. This means more diversity in our learning, covering more topics from Asia, Africa, Latin America, as well as offering even more specialized electives and guest speakers. We would also like to see more optional courses accessible to freshmen and sophomores. 4. Strengthening the IE network, and it's basically by connecting with the student leadership team, which is the master's program student government. We hope to enrich the IE community by establishing a professional mentorship program between alumni and graduates and undergrads. In addition, we hope to normalize and encourage cross-program workshops with the help of the Career Center. And 5, opt-out testing. We have a lot of smart students here, and plenty who are specialized before coming to uni. For those students, we want to push for the ability to test out of modules and other basic introductory courses that are currently compulsory. We think this will allow students to be happier and more productive by allowing them the choice to choose how to spend their time. And then, as for community development, our first is IE Student Fair Housing Bureau. Continuing the work of Amelia Liu, which is a student here, we would like to work with student services, the IE Law School, the Law Society, and local realtors to officially establish a new student agency. This aid bureau will offer apartment contract reviews and community general housing information and aid in finding living accommodations at reasonable prices. And to strengthen the IE network, we want to introduce master students into the fold. By working with the SLT, as mentioned previously, we hope to incorporate graduates and their clubs with the undergraduates to build the IE community further. We also want to establish corporate partnerships. Through IE, we want to partner with companies to provide a better experience for students. We envision having partnerships with Avanza and Renfe to offer students discount packages so they can travel between campuses and explore Spain. We also want to incorporate businesses into Spring Ball and have them fund other formal events. And finally, 5, cross-collaboration with clubs. We hope to encourage more collaboration with and between clubs. We hope that by working with Campus Life and club coordinators, we can create even more events for students to attend and enjoy, and also based on their feedback and criticality. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adimar. I would like to ask you a simple question about one of the points you have raised, since you still have 30 seconds left in your time. What do you mean explicitly by financial reevaluation? I think that's something that we want to get a clear idea about. And yeah,
first thing is the campus.
So what we mean with financial reevaluation is basically depending on the income of the student, especially now since the pandemic is not only affecting households but other economies as a whole. What we want is to have the students appeal to a reevaluation made by admissions in order to have tailored packages for them and their families to recover and be able to exponentially start not only making more income and then paying for their education.
Well, thank you for your answer. As we have missed Omar Sherif in the first part when he was speaking, now it's time to give him the floor. Omar, if you take over.
Easier format for us to be able to find our events easier. However, the idea that campus group is not working, I really
Omar, can you go and talk to us about your academic and community development program?
We really need to improve campus groups. It helps us a lot, and it's a service that I think takes a lot to be part of. Then, on top of that, we really have beautiful team.
Yes, Omar, we can hear you. You can start.
another exhibition take advantage of the Oussama, bring back the fashion show, and because we understand quite well, thanks to the experience of those who were in the government from previous years, that to make events, you need to prepare early. We want to prepare and talk with the people of the fashion show. Also, and this really is not a joke, but I think counseling is available and is free, but no one knows about it. And people who suffer from some who are need of counseling are sometimes ashamed to ask a lot of people where to go. So a clear link needs to be available to everyone to know where the room is, what certain days they can get counseling and tutoring. And we're looking to put into place a system where basically the top two of the class at their own wish tutor and help others and help others in order to get for them as well extra credit and get rewarded that they will get honors, but also to help others because Team Yellow really believes that we are for each other and by each other. Thank you.
Thank you, Omar. Despite the fact that I think your Wi-Fi is not working very well, and then we couldn't hear everything you've said. I think one of the most important things that you have mentioned is an actual emergency protocol. Would you want to elaborate more on that as you have another 10 seconds to do so, or would you want to leave the floor? All right, great. Thank you. So now, as we have finished with our part on academics and community development, I would like to ask if any one of the team members has a point to raise about anything that the other team members had said, and we will only give you one chance and one point to be raised. You can just raise your hand if you want to make a point. Yes, Lukas, you can go. You have the floor.
Right. First of all, thank you for everyone. I think there were some great proposals. I just have a question for Team Black. Well, personally, I also love social events, partying, it's great. But we have to remember that we go to the university for a reason. We go there to study. Of course, we want to have a great social life and student life, but at the end, we're still in charge of that. Your main focus of the campaign seems to be all about social events. Now, again, that might be interesting and fun, but don't forget the thing that actually matters. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucas, for your comment. I love the challenge. Well, I wouldn't say that Black team proposals are only about social life. If you look at it, actually, you will notice that we want to do a lot for students regarding academics and the way they can develop themselves as persons, as entrepreneurs, as club leaders, as sportswomen, as sportsmen. And we believe that although this is only what you memorize of our proposals, we have a lot to offer regarding the admission, the entrepreneurship office, the bachelor and master program mentoring thing. I think you guys, not in general, but some of you have tended to focus on one thing that is a big thing. I understand, and it is a change in IE proposals for student government. But I wouldn't focus on it as the first point. I would focus more on the students and their developments, and that goes through social life as well as academics. And we have an equilibrium between these two sectors of the election. And I would love if we could discuss at some point anything else than this SG Money Fund, although I'm pretty much ready to respond anything.
All right, so as there's no other hand on and no one want to make any point. Oh, we have Sava. Yes, Sava will go first and then Omar would go after him. Sava, you have the floor. And
thank you, Sama.
when
Well,
Sava asks questions to someone, the other person has to wait until we give them permission to speak. Thank you.
yeah, well, I mean, I have a question for Team Yellow, for Omar. Since we are both kind of proposing some institutional, let's say, changes to the institutional arrangement of the student body, from your Instagram page, I saw that there was an parliament proposal that has legislative power. I mean, legislative power means that it's a decision-making body that will force the university to change something. I mean, I'm not sure that I understand, but how do you plan to, pass resolutions that are binding to the private university? That's my question.
Omar, you have the floor. Omar, you have the floor. You can comment on what he said.
There is no concrete law making, and so yeah, and then if we go up to the administration and the administration rejected, then at least
Yes, you can speak, Omar.
you can account for having tried, but then it doesn't have to work. But in the end, it's a change where more people are involved in decision making at Taipei, because we always complain about the administration being too far from the being too far from the people or the students, and so this is a way of
Thank you, Omar. Yes, Sava, you can have the floor. Just a very quick comment. Doesn't this meet with the student delegate body initiative that Sava has previously? Is it the same? Is it different? Do you want to clarify on it? Do you want to talk more about the legislative powers of the student government? Sava, you have the floor.
Yeah, I mean, no, I mean, I really didn't understand the whole explanation, because that explanation is the explanation of the delegates meeting. I mean, it's a place where students are involved with directly with the administration about general issues at IE. The question is that the problem is that our proposal deals with specific degrees, so that specific degrees can share their concerns about their problems. Our proposal is not anything concerned with legislative power. I mean, saying legislative power has a very nice sound to it, but I mean, like, let's be honest, legislation is something that's very binding, and it's a very strong word. And I mean, I can understand that you try to get votes with these strong words, but to be fair, like, I don't think that's possible. What you're explaining is the actual student delegates council. What we are trying to create is another body that is connected not necessarily with the general problems of IE University, but with specific problems of degrees. Since we are growing in numbers, we are growing in degrees, we're going to have a student delegates body of, I don't know, 300, 400 people. That's good for the general idea of how the university is going. However, when it comes to specific problems of the degree, we're going to facilitate some more discussions between, let's say, those two ambassadors and the careers department. These two ambassadors in the specific department, the law department, the IR department, the School of Public and Global Affairs, the Humanities School. Yeah. So, I don't see how this is feasible in a private university.
I think that Omar has something to say on this, and afterwards we take Victor's comment. I think this is a good opportunity to comment on the status of student government, as does the student government represent really the legislative power, or what is it really as a student body?
We would like, or the team yellow would like to put in place to the agreement of all the students together through that student parliament. However, also, it's not only concerning students, because you say this is to raise the students, to raise their concerns, but it's also to give us accountability, because the student government now is not responsible for anything. If you tell him what did you do wrong, he will tell you, but this person did that and this person did that. However, now, since we recognize the responsibility, any problem that comes to face, when we can put in place decisions, or we can put in place or make things happen on campus, then now we are accountable for it. And the students who are part of the parliament can.
Thank you, Omar, for your statement. Now we would be taking Victor and Adimar, and then we would be closing this floor to move to our next topic. I'm very sorry, Lukas, you would have to make your statement on the next round, as we're lacking behind schedule, but we have 2 more chapters to cover. Victor, you have the floor.
Yes, I have a question for Team Yellow. I don't mean to do any polemics, and it's really not the point, but your president was in the current student gov, and we can say that, well, I student could have heard a bit more about this current student government. I checked upon last year proposals for Team Red and your team, Team Yellow, and I see a lot of common points and ideas. And I was wondering how people that, like Ricardo, the way he couldn't do it last year, how could it make it happen this year somehow?
be moving to Adimar, as this question will be answered at the end of the debate. This is an important question that I have taken notes of, and it will be asked at the end of the debate. Please, whoever has their mic on, turn it off.
So my
Adimar,
question is
have
direct. Sorry, thank you. So my question is related to, directed to Team Red. Could you further upon in how the ambassadors would work, and if you're planning to add the current already student ambassadors?
Well, again, this is a question. We would take it. We would take it to the last 15 minutes. We're really behind schedule. Please take notes of it. We will ask it again. Thank you so much. Yeah. So now we'll be moving to the next chapter after academics and community development, which I think is very important since some of you here are presidents, the others represent their teams. However, we know that behind every team, there's always a presidential agenda and that the president wants to make something out of IE, out of the IE community, and out of the school. Each one of you would have 2 minutes to express what will be their president. And Lukas, you have the floor to talk about your presidential agenda in 2 minutes. Also, we cannot hear you.
Okay. All right. I didn't hear you for a second. Oh, you can? Perfect. All right. And before we want to start, I just want to make sure that while I love everything I've heard so far, I think it's great. At the end of the day, I think we should focus on what we actually can do, what is a potential rational change. Promises are great, but let's focus on what we actually can do. And I want to share a personal story. A few days ago, a friend of mine asked me why I wanted to become president. And I could think of one event that directly came to my mind. It made me decide to run. And last year, during one of the IE League games, which is the sport league in Segovia, when the sun was setting, with the floodlights on, great atmosphere, an intense game was going on. I was watching the game, and I started to look around and saw that more than 50 students were present, cheering and chanting for their teams. That was the moment I realized that something that I had done, that I had created, was the reason for why everybody was there enjoying themselves and being happy. And for me, that's just the beginning. I want to be able to experience more moments like that. Both campuses, Madrid and Segovia, knowing that actually we achieved something and change your experience for the better. In my role, I'll be accountable to all students, not just us, to everyone, making sure that things are getting done, being on top of the issue until it's completed. Part of this task is the creation of subcommittees, and their focus will be on specialized tasks only. Once again, focusing on the issue that things are actually getting done. Those committees can be whether it's arts, sports, or social life. Because I believe that in order to achieve things, we need to work together. Each and every one of you guys. My team and I have shown it before, and will continue to do so. So, just with your help. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lucas, for your statement. Right now, we move into the second team, and Omar, you will have to tell us about the presidential agenda. Omar, you have the floor.
Second one, very important, is the weekly progress update. Student government needs to be in contact with everyone and the university and through their Instagram pages mascot is very important because the mascot is the lizard, but we relate more with the stork because the stork is part of the Segovia campus where I'm from, and the stork is the newspaper's logo. And so, what is IBIS logo in reality? That's something that we need to solve. We need to ask the students what they want concerning this subject. Also, concerning the stork, maximum coordination. The stork have done an excellent job this year in being transparent, in telling everyone what was really happening. They have a lot of content, and the student government, if they're close to them and can bring them with them to all the events for them to report and show the people, not only will through the weekly reports of Team Yellow,
Thank you, Omar, for your statements. We will be moving right now to Victor and the presidential agenda, and I would like to just mention again, he is president.
Yeah, so since I've been a little bit through kind of the campus life features I wanted to add in my program in the first part of the debate, let me elaborate a little bit more about communication as well as all the partnerships we want to sign for IE students. So in terms of communication, we believe that although, as Umberto just told me by text, communication was one of their weaknesses, we think that something has to be done. We think that WhatsApp hotline should be available for any students at any time in order to reach us and ask us any question that they may have. We also believe that although we're one university, we're two campuses, and that's the reason why we should have two Instagram to communicate with people. One university, but things happening in Segovia and things happening in Madrid, very different. People in Segovia, they tend not to care about what's happening in Madrid at the middle of the week, and that works the other way around. What if we could actually focus the communication on who it involves? That were my 2 points about communication. Then the partnerships. The partnership is a very, very important part of our program. We believe that the ex-student governments maybe didn't think about it or didn't have the resources. Now we are glad to say that we have reached out to many, many private companies in Madrid that would crave to work with IE people. IE people is such a good crowd that everyone wants to work with us. I don't know how it is possible that we don't have deals anywhere. This afternoon, Adimar, I saw your post about housing. And I was like, that's a good idea. So yeah, we reached out. Okay, so I'm going to elaborate on that later. Thank you.
You can have 10 seconds to finish your statement if you want.
No, I just wanted to present an agreement that we just signed this afternoon with a real estate company that will offer 15% off all the rental fees when you sign the contract, and that for all IE students starting in September, regardless if we're elected or not. And I think this is very important because that's a huge cost for IE student. Housing is a very big cost and a very big burden.
All right. Thank you so much, Victor. 15% definitely sounds very interesting, especially the prices in Madrid are pretty high. So now we will be moving to Sava, and afterwards we will be taking Adimar. Sava, you have 2 minutes. It starts now.
Yeah, thank you, Sama. Well, when Filiberto asked me to be the vice president of the team, I was very, very surprised and very, very happy because I saw that the team was composed of competent people who are there with the common goal. You know, the goal is to connect more the students in the IE administration. The goal is to create a more of a tight community that will enable students to channel their concerns to the IE administration. Now, in line of that is our proposal of IE ambassadors as our main proposal and our main campaign proposal. And I would like to answer Adimar's remarks. How does it change? How does it differ from the ambassadors currently at IE? Well, currently ambassadors at IE are people that are, you know, representing IE to the external community, to people outside of IE, to people coming for IE experience, to people that want to join IE. Now, our ambassadors are... Can you please turn off the mic, Victor?
Sorry about that.
I might get this time. Okay. So these ambassadors, I'm sorry, it's the same word. We can change the word of that. It doesn't matter. The substance is the same. So it's a body that basically channels their agendas, their concerns to the IE community, to the administration, to the president, to the different departments, and they would be elected probably by the representatives of each class. So we will have a meeting with the representative of each class, just as there is a class meeting to elect the representatives for the student delegate body. We will have a student delegate meeting of specific degrees that will elect these ambassadors, or however you want to call them. We use the word ambassador since it's a very, very good word to explain the let's say the position. However, that can change. That is a minor issue in the whole. The substance, however, is that we want to channel to the specific departments the concerns that IE students had throughout the years, and how they can improve in the future, and how we can have a much better university at the end of the day. And this is our president's agenda, to have a much better communication between IE students and the university. And I will yield the floor back to you, Oussama. You have the floor. I'm done.
Thank you, Sava, for your comment. Now we would be moving to Adimar, as she is the president of Team White. I think she is placed better than anyone else to tell us about her presidential agenda. Adimar, you have the floor.
Thank you, Oussama. Within our presidential agenda, we're not going to talk about what we have done, but what we would like to implement. Therefore, we have 5 main points that we want to cover. The first one being, as Team White, we want to implement a monthly press conference open to the entire IE student body on both campuses, where representatives, club coordinators, and students in general will have the chance to voice their concerns, propose solutions to problems, and of course, create an engaging extracurricular events. These conferences will also allow us to provide students with monthly reports on all initiatives undertaken by our student governments. So in any case, you can hold us accountable for our mistakes. 2, Stork partnership and increased communication. We would like to partner with the Stork to provide more regular coverage of all student government and student events. Additionally, we hope to use all channels of communication, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook. In doing so, we want to provide students with all the information they could need about what is happening in IE. And since we encourage feedback and criticality, in addition to the existing academic and community development committees, we want to create things such as digital anonymous suggestion boxes and constructive polls on the student government and the university in general. And 4th, live streaming for events. Since IE continuously hosts many fascinating workshops and impressive guests come to IE, we want students to be able to attend even more of these events from different campuses. And not to mention, since our institution is an entrepreneurial hub, we want to give exposure to IE entrepreneurs. With so many startups at this university, we would like to utilize the existing platforms to further help students gather support and publicize their accomplishments. Therefore, we envision this emphasis on communication on the different initiatives undertaken will help both our academics and our community prosper. because we know that at the end of the day, we represent IE, and IE should indeed represent us. Thank you.
Thank you, Adimar, for your statements. Thank you, everyone, for the statements you have made. Now, there's gonna be we're gonna be having 2 minutes for each speaker to talk about. It's a closing statement. I'm sorry, it's gonna be 1 minute 30. Yeah. So your closing statement is basically up to you how you want to shape it. You guys have the floor, starting with Lukas.
I'm guessing I can't respond to the others, but what I just quickly wanted to say was that I agree with a lot of things you guys said. Once again, I think amazing work. But at the end of the day, there are so many issues that we already have with the current student government, which are still like fighting for. And at the end, we should focus on that before we create even more problems, which is going to take even more time away. But we'll get to that later. My closing statement. Now, while my position would be that of a president, I'm most importantly part of a team. A team that has reasonable goals and proposals. A team that I've been fortunate enough to work with for the last few weeks and months that has shown me day by day that this journey is about one thing and one thing only. Achieving change, change for the better, golden change. But this team is not just made up of us 6. Part of this team is every single one of you guys. We want to make sure that you feel that your voice is being heard, not just once a year, but throughout the whole year. While I truly believe in the potential of every team, and I think you guys did great work, I know that my team has shown commitment and competence in the past and will continue to do so in the future. As said in my opening statement, we deserve golden times. So join Team Gold, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Lukas, for your statement. We will be taking Omar Sherif right now on final.
In order to achieve the long goal we're all aiming for. And so really, if there's one team, in our opinion, that is really prepared enough to take you through this transitional phase of unblocking the small steps, it's Team Yellow. And once you are able to unblock them, you'll see, guys, you'll see what's coming, and there's a lot. And we'll be discussing all of these certain small unblocking proposals later on, further on in the debate. But for now, we hope you enjoyed what you've seen, what you've heard, and prepare yourselves because we're going to give it our all. Thank you.
Lovely statements, Omar. Thank you for the time. We will be having Victor right now for 1 minute 30 closing statements. Victor.
Yes, I wanted to thank you all for this very passionate debate. I want to stress out the point that although we have talked a lot about of Team Black for this hegemony fund and stuff, that this is not it's a promise, but it's not the only point in the campaign for Team Black. The thing is, we wanted to go on very specific topics about academics, and we thought that. Okay, too loud. Sorry, Adam. But we thought that a lot of ideas were already proposed for every student, and it was obvious that these were things to change and to try to modify at IE. Okay, still not much better. Sorry. Sorry about that. So the final point is that I want to stress that it's not about only composite. It's about the combination of both. We didn't want to have some ideas that you guys may all come up with. We wanted to have something a little bit different, and that's why we took this path. Although we do remember the urgency of all you guys' matters and ideas in academics, in either academics or community development. And I hope that the winning team will enable the others to join their action, join forces in order to all achieve the work that we wanted to do all together. Because I think it's a teamwork. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Victor, for your statement. Now we will be having Sava, and we will conclude with Adimar's statement. Sava, you have the floor.
Well, thank you, Oussama. First of all, I would like to thank everybody for their proposals, for their contributions. I would like to thank Oussama as the moderator. And finally, I would like to thank you all. I've seen the chat was very, very active. Now, if we're going to say something in our closer statement, I would like to say that, these are times, this is probably one of the most important student government elections that we had. We are actually facing the completely unknown scenario in the future, and I think that there should be competent, responsible people who are going to be leading the IE community in these times, and who are going to be working together with the IE administration on by making the student life best for students, the best possible. Now, I would like to mention again, through the IE ambassador, or however you want to call them, but the body that will deal with degrees, then through sports and creating a tighter community in sports, and finally, what we've probably forgotten, and I haven't had much time to talk about it, the spring ball, to give students, some sort of choice in choosing their best version of spring ball out of, let's say, 3 choices that we give them. Now it can be 2, it can be 4, but we want to give some students, let's say, choices in the type of spring ball that they want to achieve. And finally, I would like to thank Filiberto for giving me the opportunity to speak here on behalf of Team Red. It's a great honor. It's a very competent team, and I feel pretty much honored to be the one for the first debate. Thank you, Oussama, and I yield the floor back to you.
Thank you, Sava, so much. Adimar, you have the floor.
Thank you, Oussama. I once again want to thank the organizers of this event for making this happen, especially given the short amount of time that they had to prepare for this. I want just to leave you all by saying that if you vote for Team White, you're voting for a group of students with an immense passion for the institution that we are part of. And it is because of that passion that we are willing to work so hard on your behalf. We want to make sure your voices are heard by administration and that they are answered. If you have any questions or would like to propose other suggestions or even contact to help you get through the situation, please, I encourage you to do so. It is our mission to be absolutely clear and to fulfill your wishes, the student body, and also be your first call if needed. So go check out our Instagram, get to know us and our proposals, because we are students just like you that want to be proud of the place that we have made our own. So we look forward to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Adimar, for your statement. With that, we're coming to the second big chapter of this debate. I would like to leave the floor for the Stork in order to actually ask the questions, since they have compiled a good amount of questions for each team.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to welcome my peer, Francia. I'm going to wait for her to join. One sec. My name is Laura, and I'm the Assistant Editor-in-Chief for the Madrid campus from the Stork, and also the Social Media Manager.
Hi, guys. So as you know, we're the university newspaper, and we have several questions from the student body who submitted their questions into our Instagram and whatnot. In order to go through all of them, we're going to ask you to please keep them short because we have a short amount of time. And we have some articles about each of one of the teams that you can check out in our website as well. So if you have any other questions about their proposals, All of the information will be there under the tab of Student Government in the Stork website.
To start, we wanted to address the issue that there has been some rumors of bribery, warnings, and allegations of misbehavior from the teams. So we want to give you guys the opportunity to come clean, as the voters need to know everything that has been involved. So if individual teams want to explain how they have been involved with the ethics committee instead of us asking questions, is your opportunity to do so. No one wants to come through?
You
Then
guys can
we will
raise your hand
continue.
and we'll give you the floor.
Okay, then let's continue. Francia?
Victor, was that a hand?
I was out. Adobe left, quit. Can you just please repeat the question for me? I'm really sorry about that.
We were asking if you wanted or any team to come clean about the accusations made to your team, or if you had a warning on the ethics committee.
Thank you for asking that question, and I will answer it very simply by asking another question, which is, would I do it again? And I would definitely do it again, because it got me to understand all the IE process. I am not involved in clubs, and I had to do it. I spoke to a lot of people that gave me great ideas about my proposals, and I wouldn't have been able to come up with such a proposal, with such ideas, if I didn't have to speak to that people. But as you said, this was a gray area. This wasn't proper cheating. This was a warning, and this is why it was a warning and not a disqualification. I stress that point though, because it's important. And yeah, I mean, this allowed me to come up with something. So
Okay.
you think whatever you think whatever you want to think. We came up with something, some proposals, and some fair ideas. And I see you smiling, but I understand your side of the. I understand your vision, but I do had to understand. And once again, this was one-to-one conversation, and that was not promoting myself nor my team. This was one-to-one, and I stress that point. Yes, Lucas.
Lucas?
Come up with something.
No, I just want to say that I understand that you want to text your student body, get to know them, but at the end of the day, I think what's important here is the fact that it happened before the deadline. Meaning that you contacted someone, which we could have done too, after the campaign, but you gave yourself an advantage. And I think that's what people are confused about. Furthermore, you asked someone that was in charge of a club, meaning that it's not just a friend. That person has a reach. That person has a whole club that maybe supports you. And I think that's why many people were questioning you. I don't think people are saying that you are something like I just want to I think there's a mic. Make sure that you understand.
Can I go now? Sorry about the mic thing. Yeah. You have a great point, Lucas. And to be completely fair, I spoke one-to-one and one-to-one conversation with these people as if they were my friends. I don't doubt 100% that you spoke with people about your election and you were running. They were your friends. I spoke one-to-one with people. They were running clubs because I needed their opinions about what they were doing. I talked with great people, the music club, the impact club. I talked with really great people that inspired me a lot in what I'm proposing today. So I assume what I did, but it was not cheating. It was one-to-one, and this is allowed because you can speak to your friends, and you guys all did speak to your friends.
Okay, we're gonna move on to more questions.
Could I say one thing?
Super quick, 10 seconds.
Super quick. Totally understand, Victor. I talked to my friends, but the big point is that you promised the team that you would give them more equipment and if they vote for you. And again, I talked to my friends, you talked to your friends, but that's different. And that was before the deadline.
Can I do a slight comment about it? Very slight.
No,
Less than
sorry.
20, less than 15 seconds, Rora. Less than 15 seconds. Look, Lucas, I came up with this because
We have to continue.
this was the plan. Like, obviously, if you have a great idea and the guy you're talking to is involved, you're going to tell him about what you think and what you have done. So, I mean, if you had come up with something like this, you would have communicated. And yes, I did, because I had it planned. I had the SD money fund ready. And, I think it was great to share it with them. Sorry.
No, I'm gonna ask the new question because if not, you're gonna hover the chat. Okay. So our first general question to all teams is: assuming you were voted and elected, what is the first thing you would do as student government? So we're gonna start with Adimar. Whenever you want.
Thank you, Stork, for thank you. Thank you, Stork, for the floor. What we want to do as Team White is put forward the press conference that we've mentioned before, because since we're running on the fact of honesty and transparency, we want you as the student body to be the decision makers and also the logistics behind all the proposals, because at the end of the day, I know I'm not a professional in eco-friendly laws or in law, etc. And we as students know that there's a lot of people that are extremely qualified to do so, and that's why we want to give everybody the floor. So that's something that we want to implement as soon as we or if we are given the opportunity to become student government.
Perfect, thank you. Team Red, Sava?
Yeah, can you hear me? Well, the first thing that we would do if we were elected, and I mean it's what any responsible government would do, is we would get to know the internal dynamics of the IE administration and the IE university, and let's say the things that you know are not there in the plain sight, and combine that with the inquiries by students. Now, maybe through the same means as a press conference, maybe through, you know, let's say open days at IE, where, you know, I would sit as the VP in front of the Madrid campus for the whole day, or 2 or 3 days for a whole weekend, you know, just invite students to talk to me about their inquiries. It doesn't have to be official, it can be also unofficial. I will be there, so it won't be behind closed doors. And, you know, I think that that's the most fundamental thing. Now, all the proposals are going to be starting to do immediately after we get elected. However, they will probably take a bit longer, and the ambassadors thing will be the first, let's say, bigger thing that we are going to do.
Okay, awesome. Team Yellow, Omar?
Can you hear me? Okay. So basically, the first to implement is, first of all, someone in the administrator being responsible for the student government. Through my talks with the past student government and the one before, the problem is when the student government proposes a law, we give it to Mr. Laraniaga, who's responsible, and then it goes up into the administration, and then we don't know where it goes, and so it takes many time for a decision to happen. However, if we have someone responsible to us, that we go to him and we tell him we want to implement this, he's responsible for giving the information. So if it doesn't arrive, we know who to blame, and that way we can tell the people, okay, so we tried and this didn't happen. This is on the micro scale. If we look a bit further, the first thing we would like to implement would be the parliament, because we have proposals, and we want these proposals to be accepted by the whole student body. And so we want to propose everything we showed you guys today in front of them, and they vote on it. Yes or no? For the yes, we try to implement them. For the no, so it's tough luck. Thank you.
Gold, Lucas?
Yes, I think there's something nobody really mentioned. The first thing we want to do is make sure that we have an amazing first Freshers Week. Because let's be honest, it's been some tough times. It's going to be a long summer. If we have the time, and if we'll be back, it'll be an amazing Freshers Week. We'll make sure of that. After that, we're going to sit down with the administrator, start communicating on an effective level. Start knowing what the issues are, concerns of the student body, which you already know some of them. But at the end of the day, we want to give you a voice. Part of that is strong and effective communication. That's one big issue. But remember, main focus is going to be on the Freshers Week.
And finally, Team Black, Victor?
Yeah, I think the first thing we're going to put in place is obviously the students in the admission office, as the tower is actually coming up and the number of students is significantly increased. Obviously, Lukas, as well as the Freshers Week, that is very important to us, as you may have noticed with everything we proposed. But yes, I mean, I deeply believe that we should take care of the value of all of our degrees. And IE is claiming to innovation and to implement the people and the students in all the decision-making process. What if it could actually be the case, and having these people in the admission office? I think it would be very transparent and clear for the students.
Perfect. Then we have a question for you, for the Team Black, and is based on the finance and budgeting that you have been promising. First of all, with what kind of authority have you made those deals?
Mm-hmm.
And then
how do you want to? Yeah.
20K?
Okay, so on what authority? So I've been fortunate, as I said, I was fortunate enough to have IE people behind me to start organizing Valmanias in a few locations, in a few venues. I have now worked with more than 10 venues around Madrid and groups. So I rely on them to help me raise that money. And I believe in them because we had a very healthy business relationship for the whole time. And the other question was how to get the 20Ks. I think it's pretty clear in the Excel that we just posted on the Instagram. But I'm going to say it once again. I mean, one Liberty night makes 20,000, from which culture takes 30% of it. So it's already 6,000 euros. What if this money could come back to the students? What if this money could be used for sports, for clubs, for initiatives, for startups, whatever? We want this money to be transparent. We want it to be a non-profit and a completely, fully transparent. We want to be the one behind Campus Life if Campus Life doesn't pay for something. And we want to be this last entity to be able to pay for something on behalf of the student government.
Okay, Omar, you wanted to comment? Go ahead. Yellow, you can answer if you want.
What? Hey, Oussama is asking a question.
Victor,
whose turn is it?
I really looked at Excel, and it's very detailed. However, do you know your finances? Much. Do you know IE's finances?
Yeah, I do. I don't know specifically IE finances. No one does, and it's actually a very well hidden secret. But the estimation is that it's a very well hidden secret. And if you guys didn't know, IE is a non-profit. And, can you hear me? Yeah, it's a non-profit. So I don't know. I know I have an idea of what the budget for the student gov is. I do. Nevertheless, I think that Campus Life has a great power, and I'm not arguing against this power, but I'm just saying that it is always good to have a student fund in case of,
yes.
You know, we know what's going to happen. Could happen. So I don't
guys,
know.
We're running from time. We're going to go on to the next question. Super quickly, for everybody who's involved right now, are any of the presidents going on exchange next year?
No? Good. Okay. And the next question we have is how have you changed the life of IE students? Starting with Red Team. Keep it short, everyone.
I mean, I don't really understand the question. How have I changed the lives of IE
How
students?
has you or your team changed IE students with your involvement in community, if any?
How did? Oh, well, I was the representative at the delegates meeting, and whoever was at those delegates meeting in my second year, I think, knows that I was very, very loud for the IE community. Then, I mean, I was always there to talk to IE students. I'm trying to work on changing even more the life of IE students, and yeah, I mean, in that sense, I think I've created a very, like a personal connection with a lot of IE students, and I would say that's one of the best things that I've done.
Okay, Team Yellow. Team Yellow. Hello. Omar. Yes, we can. So the question was how is your team or yourself change any IE student's life? Hi. If not, we will change the team, okay? I'm gonna
I would
change
suggest we give
to
him a little bit of time. I think his mic will work. It's just a matter of slight connection problem.
okay. Please go. Time is ticking. Okay, Team White. Team White?
Okay. Yeah. So basically, we can be defined as a team that wants to promote networking, and you can see it all throughout Instagram profiles. We have Olivia, who has been a mentor in the Mentorship Society. She has been involved in TEDx IE Madrid as an organizer. She has worked in 80 Degrees Consulting team. We have Adam, who has been part of the Stork and has published plenty of articles that you have read as well. He has worked for the Social Forum branch leader in the debate club in Segovia. He's also peer support facilitator group within that group. We have Daniela, who has worked in social impact labs and has also been an MUN freak as well. We have Abdul at Community Development for Segovia, who has been co-director of IE Think podcast. And also we have Druvi, who's with me, helped me to organize IE Engage Club's initiatives that unfortunately couldn't be done due to the pandemic, but we have done plenty of stuff and we will not stop doing so.
Okay, Team Gold.
Yes. So starting off, our team has a variety of everything pretty much. We have class reps. We have been part of the Mentorship Society. We own our own company in regards to social events. We have been part of the academics committee. So we've kind of had the experience from all. We've been part of clubs. We've played sports. And to kind of finish it off, I started the IE League, the football league.
Team Gold?
Yeah.
Can you hear me right?
What? Yeah, I'll just finish. So I started the IE Football League in Segovia. which ended up actually changing the life of IE students, let's say 150 people. And I want to make sure that we can keep changing things and actually getting things done. Because at the end, last year's student government wanted to do something like that. They wanted to do a cup, but I devoted my private time without being in the position of student government. And I offered, let's say, 5 to 8 hours every week because I realized that there's something that you can do. And I believe that that was a big change.
And finally, Team Black.
Well, you can call us rookies. We haven't disappointed anyone yet. We are coming with great ideas. I mean, Fatih and I have launched startups. Fatih is head of the marketing club in Segovia, who has 25 very active members. So he's quite an important member of the community. But I would say, and I, for like myself, had a lot of involvement, obviously regarding IE students in all the events. In La Queselia, in Casa Suecia, in Habanera, everything. So I got to meet a lot of IE students, maybe not helping them and maybe not getting so far on the academics and on the campus life. But I do believe, and my whole team believes, that we can do great things if you guys allow us your trust.
Perfect. Team Gold, your team proposes to take away professors' ability to create their own methods of evaluation in their syllabi. Considering that past student governments haven't been able to do this, how can you commit to the student body that your team will be able to?
Relatively simple. I mean, we all come from different different high schools with different experiences. And part of the experiences I had was mind clearing of the mic. Thanks, Victor.
Sorry, guys.
Anyways, so one of those things is the interactive communication between teachers. Of course, everybody has their own ways and methods, but at the end of the day, there should be a balance. Meaning that the grading system should be the same, because otherwise you give people advantages and disadvantages. And once again, we want to focus on the experience we have from the past, which also include the fact that while we encourage teachers to use their own methods, making sure to focus on the syllabus given by the university, having interacted with other teachers, and following the same guidelines.
Perfect, thank you. We are going to continue with, well, we're going to try if Omar can answer the question. Can you hear us? Hello. Team Yellow? Okay, I'm going to continue with the next question. If any fellow Team Yellow members can respond on the chat for him, that would be marvelous. The question was, how is your team involved in IE, or how have they changed any IE student's life? Continuing with the next question for everyone. Do you believe your team has realistic amounts of proposals, and how do you intend to make them all possible, since some of you teams have over 12 proposals? So starting with Team White.
Thank you once again, members of the Stork. As Team White, what we're planning to do is, and we believe our proposals are, yes, viable and achievable. What we're planning to do is, if we are given the chance to be your representative body, we want to start planning and contacting all these key partners and assets before September begins. We want to have the schedule planned through and have meetings with Campus Lives, have meetings with all the club coordinators if possible, and then organize the first IE press conference in order to get to meet all the individuals that we represent at IE and start the cross-club coordination as well. And also, in order to have a more of another side and perspective, we want to then start partnering up with the master's student governments, because we believe at the end of the day, we aspire to be like them, and they can help us a lot in implementing all these things. I believe that our proposals are, yes, realistic because they come with a base already. We're building up. We're not starting from scratch.
Perfect. Team Black.
Sure. Yeah, thank you, Laura, for asking the question. But if I may, I'm gonna ask it another way. What have been done so far in our proposals? The entrepreneurship office is, I mean, it's kind of set. The Law Society is on board. We had discussion with them, and they love the idea. So I think we're gonna work with them. The WhatsApp communication channel is already on and working. You can text us at any time if you have any question regarding the campaign. The fund already has partnerships. We already have the partnership with El Grupo La 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 for everything that for all classes dinners, as well as Casa Suecia, as you know, Pica Lagartos. So we believe that we have done a few things so far, and that we're going to pursue this way to achieve everything that we have proposed and or promised.
Awesome. Team Red.
Yeah, well, it's a very, very, very interesting question, and the answer is delegation of work. Namely, we have 2 academic officers that are going to be dealing with the 2 academic issues that we've come forth with the ambassadors and the participation and attendance, a clarification with the professors. We will have our sports coordinator, our community developer, work on bringing IE students to sports events, and we will have our other community development and communications manager do the greener IE thing. Now the president will be in charge together with all of us, and we will be in charge for the student spring ball. And I think that it's quite realistic that our proposals are met. We didn't promise anything grandiose. We promised things that are going to be really changing the way that IE communication works, and I think that step by step we're going to make it.
Perfect. And I think Team Gold is the last one.
Exactly. So what we want to focus on, we want to focus on looking at what has been done so far, adding on to that, whether it's from the old student government that showed us what's working, whether it's using some of the IE leagues to implement that system on the Madrid campus, make it bigger for every sport, but also to focus on several more proposals. One of our key ones is transparency and better communication, something that is very actually realistic, meaning that we can achieve something like that. It's not a false promise. You know it could be true, we know it could be true, but for that we need your help. Another thing, which has been mentioned as a thing, but we believe greener IE should be one of the main ideas and initiatives of the future. As even though Corona is one of the key issues at the moment, we shouldn't forget that also something like climate change is mattering. One of those things is making IE greener, taking advantage of the innovative universe we are in, and actually changing IE for something.
Perfect. For Team Red, can you explain why the Red Team's Instagram account was started from a personal account and not from an original account?
Yeah, definitely. Well, we've actually started from an original account, and everybody who started following us knows that we started from an original account. But we'd had some, let's say, interventions by, I don't want to name who, and we couldn't follow people. We had a limit of, I don't know, I think 15 or 20 people per day. And so our president, in the way he is, he sacrificed himself. He sacrificed his own Instagram account. He doesn't have currently his own private account, so he turned his private account into our own account. And I think that speaks a lot to his devotion to the community and to this campaign and to the election of us as the student government. Thank you for the question. It needed clarification. Thank you.
Okay. Team White, we've heard about your promising partnerships with transport companies before, be it Renfe, La Sepulvedana, or Avanza. How will Team White actually get a multi-million-dollar state-owned company that has already selected amount of student discounts a partnership with IE and IE students?
Perfect. Sorry for disconnecting. My contact lens was bothering me. Thank you. One of the things that we want to implement by doing so is that since we know that already these types of discounts exist, we want to then kind of tailor or get into an agreement for specific IE students, and not only IE students, also professors. And we have been in contact, we want to get in contact especially with the Renfe administration in Segovia, as we feel that that would also help students not to stay in Segovia as much and also interact with the Madrid campus and vice versa as well. We can further elaborate. I know my community development officer will further elaborate in our post as well.
Lukas?
So I think it's a super cool initiative, and I would love to have a lot of discounts as well. But again, it's a multi-million-dollar company, and we're not the only university in Spain. Why would they allow us discounts, but not for any other universities? As soon as they would agree to something like that to us, any other university that heard about that would start asking about it too. That's why you have general student discounts. At the end, we just got to take advantage of them and inform the student body that they already exist. Thank you.
I just want to clarify that we are trying to get Team Yellow back on the call, and we're talking with Ricardo right now because Omar is having some problems. Meanwhile, I'm gonna read Chloe's response to the previous question just so they have the same exposure. So Ricardo was in the SG as well as the Community Development Committee. I was a mentor, an ambassador, a founder, and director for PLE Society. I participated in the Startup Club. Omar was class rep and is a member of the football team for 2 years now. Matthew and Maria Laura have a lot of relevant achievements from outside IE, such as an event organization, MUN leadership communication position. Now we can continue, and hopefully Team Yellow will join us in a bit. Francia, you can go ahead. Hello.
Francia, you have the floor for any other question.
Perfect. Team Black, what was the decision behind your slogan, your motto? Some students consider that it's disrespectful towards Black.
Yes, that's another really good question, Francia. Thank you very much for asking it. It started off with a joke, and we found it a bit racist too. So I went online myself and I checked if it was anyhow related to any racist comment or community or whatsoever, and I didn't find anything. But if anyone here comes in with something, a proof that it is actually racist and had been used in the past by any hateful organization, I will obviously change the slogan, because that's really not the image we want to give. But I looked for it and I couldn't find anything, so that's why we pretended that we could go for it.
Thank you. We have one more question to wrap up our section, and
Okay,
then
sounds
Mateo
reasonable.
Mateo from the
Team Yellow,
SG will join
some
us.
of your proposals have been repeated in past years. So, such as English requirements for professors and distinction between attendance and participation, and almost none of these student governments have done any change. Why do you guys believe you would do something different?
Is Team Yellow going to respond on the chat? Team Yellow. Victor, go ahead. Victor?
I'm just reading what's happening in the chat. I'm really sorry you guys take it so personally. It really started off with a joke, and we checked that. But if we offended someone, we're going to change it as soon as possible. We're sorry about that.
Okay. Team Yellow has disappeared. If they respond on the chat, please let us know. Meanwhile, this is our last question for all of you. Considering the situation we have now.
Can you hear me?
Did he come back?
Guys, can you hear me, sorry?
Yes, I think Ricardo is here, so we can hear you. Go ahead.
Guys, sorry, sorry about that. So in Egypt, Omar had a electricity cut, so yeah. I'm happy to be here. Can you tell me again the question, please?
Francia.
In past student governments, there have been many things proposed that your team is proposing, such as participation and attendance difference and English requirements for professors, and those things haven't been done. Is there anything that your team would do differently in order for these things to happen?
The question, I think that the basic answer is that obviously change, and that's why our slogan is here to change. In some things aren't as easy as others. I know that personally, Mateo de Palma, my current student government academics officer in Segovia, has been trying to push this forward, and I believe that change is made not only by throwing new proposals, but also trying to keep the new ones, the previous ones that actually the student body wants. So I think that through experience and trying to still push this proposal forward, we can make it happen. As I assume that the other teams as well want this proposal to actually pass for our whole student body.
Okay, Victor, go ahead.
Thank you. But so where were you, Ricardo, this year?
Victor, let me explain something about it. Can you hear me? Yes, okay. Let me explain you something about the student government. My position was community development. I was not academics officer. If you have anything related to academics, you can go directly to Mateo de Palma or Alicia Hernandez, who were the student government last year. And I'm sure that they will be happy to actually explain you how it works and why this proposal actually did not pass. So answering to your question, I was community development. I was in charge of actually making fundraisers, events, and I collaborated with a lot of people at IE, and I'm really proud. I'm really proud of all the things that we achieved, such as Team Trees, which was a fundraiser that many people in Segovia actually assisted and donated, which collected more than 1,900 euros, and we were able to actually plant 1,900 trees.
Thank you. One last question to Team Yellow. Your team is proposing a student government parliament, but a lot of people think that this would be incredibly inefficient in terms of getting things done, even though it would include class representatives. What do you have to say about this, about how some people think it would be inefficient to have a parliament instead of just a team of student government?
What we want to have is a parliament. I'm sorry if the literal word caused any confusion. The legislative power that we want to create is that it actually shows all the problems that each degree in every campus has. For example, as Lukas said before, with architecture or design or whatever program that they will bring to a debate in the parliament, so we can actually hear every single student concerned, because that's one problem that this government and past governments had, is that they think that the student government is not there for them. But we want to create this parliament in order for them to be able to push actually proposals and then take it to the IE administration in order for them to actually attend.
Perfect. So our last question before we pass to Mateo. As you know, in challenging times like this ones, most of us are in quarantine and all of us are doing online classes. For now, there isn't a deadline until when we're going to be in this status. We might even start September in the same situation. So have you thought, how would you do a student government completely online, taking into account that most of your proposals consider events and academics, proposals that have presence in campus? So what's your take on that situation, and how would your team tackle it? Team Red first.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we can manage a lot of the things that we've talked about online. Basically, the participation thing, we can talk to the IE administration. The IE ambassador can also be done through a video conference like this one. I mean, the only problem that we see is Spring Ball. However, Spring Ball is in March, so I think that we can, by March, we are going to be able to reach agreements, and by March, hopefully, we end up out of the quarantine. Now, greener IE, I mean, us sitting all in quarantine is a greener IE, you know. So that is not the problem. But yeah, I think that most of these proposals that we've done can be done online through video conference.
Team Yellow.
Sorry, I don't have any point.
You don't want to comment on the question?
Can you repeat that? I have bad connection as well, so sorry. Really.
The question was, how are you on tackling the corona situation, considering maybe in September we will also be on online classes and some of the events won't be able to happen, such as Freshers Week and the academic proposals and so on?
So I think that the main concern now is that every student at IE is safe wherever they are around the world. So every event that we are planning, and I think that everything can agree with us, is we can postpone it until we come back to university. But so now, when we form the government, I think that the main point needs to be to focus on academics, and that every single student can happily achieve all the goals in the academic life. Also, apart from that, as you have seen in our Instagram, we have been dealing with this situation with lives, with videos, bringing you more people, experts. As you can see on Saturday, we will have an expert of psychology that will explain you anxiety tips. So I think that if we can bring all the things that we have planned to the internet, I think that we will have an amazing government.
Team White.
Okay. Can you hear me? Okay, perfect. We are all aware that this situation is something that is unpredictable. And as Team White, we plan to use every type of channel that allows us to interact in a positive and creative way with each and every one of you. We don't only have Adobe, we also have Zoom and Skype, and all of these major platforms can allow us to then promote seminars. The press conference can also be online. We've seen that, and this is an example of a virtual channel that is allowing us to communicate. So we want to take advantage of everything that the internet can give to us. And at the end of the day, if we do want to make IE innovative, technology is the way to do it. So I feel that there are a lot of ways that we can implement all of these proposals. And later on, with the time that we're going to be spending at home, work as an interdependent unit to then implement those proposals face to face.
Team Gold?
Yes, to kind of simplify everything, I would just say the main focus is on communication. Even though we're sitting at home, we have a lot of time, and we've been in touch. For example, in regards to the IE League proposal, I've been already talking to some people in Madrid in regards to what's the closest field, is it feasible? We've been talking, and again, we just want to set up for as soon as we come back to university that we can start making the best out of our time. We're going to start setting up the Freshers Week. That can all be done online. We start texting people, we start reaching out to them. It's not like hindering us from anything. At the end, we got to take advantage of the technologies. Once again, that's what makes us innovative and set us up to make it a great year, and that we can all do it from home using communication.
Yeah, so very unlike any other teams, well, I will head back to Madrid and actually do my businesses if we're elected in Madrid, having meetings with the board, with the directors of IED that are still in Madrid. With a little bit of luck, after mid-May, we'll be able to return. And this is where I plan on doing most of the thing I said I'd do, along with my team, because I have some members in Madrid. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I go back to Madrid to actually implement what I said I'd do. I think that's like crucial. You can't lead a 3,000 people community from another country. That's kind of a shame.
Okay, last remark, Lukas, please, so quick.
Thank you, very appreciated. Given the circumstance, I think we can also take advantage of what IE gives us. I mean that at the moment, as we said, we can either have video tournaments online, we can have talent online, and in regards to academics, some people might already know, but for example, courses like offered by Bloomberg, which is in a cooperation with IE, usually they cost up to 200 euros, but so far they've been cheapened down to zero. And if we take advantage of that, we can still make the best time out of this.
Guys, can at what point can we ask each other those questions?
It's now. We're done. We wanted to say thank you for giving us this time. We're gonna do an article, fact check all of your proposals, and please stay tuned because now we have the current SG.
Guys,
and then you'll
can we ask each question like?
You will
maybe.
have the possibility to ask each question.
We're waiting for the current student up.
Ah, we are.
Mute your mic. Can you guys mute your mic?
Thanks, Lukas. You're the one.
Can you guys mute your mics once again? Can you guys mute your mics once again?
Hi guys, can you hear and see me? No, nothing. Wait, let's try.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Can
No,
you
see.
guys mute your mics and can you guys mute your mics and if you're not given permission to speak, do not speak. Also, Mateo, we cannot see you. We could hear you for a certain amount of time, but now we cannot see you. Using this time, since Mateo to log in, I would like to thank the Stork for actually making this session very interactive and asking questions that are of a big relevance. We will be waiting for Mateo to connect, Meanwhile, does anyone have any point to make or any questions to make? I saw Victor was raising his hand. Yes, Victor, you can have the floor.
So I have one question for Sava. So you guys had this amazing and great initiative, just to clarify everything, to give the profit of the spring ball to an NGO, and I love the idea, and that would be an amazing thing. But like nowadays, organizing a ball is halfly paid by IE and halfly paid by the students, which means that if IE was not involved, they should pay twice the amount. And it is not making any money, obviously, because IE wouldn't pay the students to make profit out of it. So, I mean, what profit?
We are not saying that we're gonna make profit from the spring ball. We're just saying that anything that comes in excess. Okay, I mean, you're in event management. You know that. You know, when you create an event, you know you have a specific budget for the event, right? If that budget is lower, or not lower, higher than the actual cost of the event, all the rest goes to an NGO. Is that clear? So it doesn't go back to the IE, it goes to an NGO to help the kids with cancer, for example, or whatever NGO we are going to use.
Thank you very much, Sava.
It's a good one.
Thank
Mateo, we cannot hear you. Can you use your mic to speak, but then we cannot.
Hi guys, sorry, I'm having problems with the video, but I guess I can still ask questions just as long as you guys hear me. I think it's fine.
Yes, you can do so.
Yes, you can do so. Yeah, where the hell? Not wait, where's this share camera? I can't see it, wait. Yeah, no, I can't see this share camera, no, because I'm trying to find it at the top. Yeah, never mind. We can choose right now if either we have a separate student government member come on, or if you'd like me to just keep asking through the microphone. It's up to you guys.
I think you can keep asking through the microphone. That's not a problem, Mateo.
Okay, perfect. First of all, I'd like to keep this pretty quick. I know that we've gone over time, so I don't want to keep too many people off of dinner or anything like that. I'd just like to say that, to the student body, whichever team that you go with, at the end of the day, you'd be getting a very fair deal. I think that everyone here present is capable. But as much as I was asked to be a part of this debate, I'm not here to, let's say, pamper everyone up. Unfortunately, I'm here to ask, let's say, do some fact checking myself and input my own personal experience with student government and with creating budgets, and with passing different proposals, and some of the different comments some different proposals which have been set on by the teams, in my personal opinion and in my personal experience, would not be, let's say, something feasible. And so I'd like to go over some of those with each member. I'd be asking each team one by one, and then you will have time to answer, and we could keep it very quickly. So I'd like to start off with Team Black. And with your proposal with the fund and with the 20,000 euros, you knew this one was coming. So about the 20,000 euros, I've had personal experience with trying to get funds and sponsorships. Members of Team White can talk to you about that because, especially with Abdul, who was part of my committee during this last year, we worked on the I Think podcast and we're finding different budgets for it. As far as the numbers go, and with the 20,000 euros, I just personally don't feel like this is something which is feasible. I'd don't understand how you guys would be able to get the money. But with that being said, you know, I've never worked with La Queselia or any of these guys, so I wouldn't know. But just looking at some of the Excel documents which you posted, and I don't mean this in any attacking way specifically, I just, you know, want to get to the facts like everyone else here involved. I just want you to explain sort of how you got these numbers, how you guys would have a fund with IE, especially, you know, since Campus Life currently holds the SG, the student government budget. And yeah, how you guys would be able to fund let's say, find the funds, especially with the current economic climate which we're facing, to help fund other external IE projects.
Thank you very much for your question. Once again, about the money fund, I think it's a very fair question coming from you. First thing first. So how my team plan on set up the company? Well, we plan on having an individual entity from IE, creating our nonprofit ourselves on behalf of the student government. And this aims obviously to be transferred to the next student government president. So that's like, it's completely out of IE. Although it's related to the student government, it is not under the watch of IE. This is very important. Then the question, how are we going to raise that money? And I mean, it's a fair question once again, but understand one thing, please. It's like my job. It's not bragging. It's like, now I can leave out of this, and I'm literally saying that IE people gave me so much in the last months, that instead of going to Culture's pocket, my pocket, Flava pocket, Flonda pocket, it should go to the students for this event that is an official IE event. I'm not saying that I'm going to be a non-profit for my whole life. I'm just saying that since it's an IE event, official event led by the school, the money should go to the students. And yes, I think it makes sense. It's completely fair to assess that La and Queselia are going to work with us, because we've been issue in a few days the menus that will be available. So I mean, if you have any other concerns, let me know. I'll be answered. It's kind of clear in our head. I don't know if it's clear when talking about it. Let me know if you have any other further questions.
Yeah, just something very quick that I want to point out. When you work with private institutions, you're always still looking, the fund essentially is always going to be with either Campus Life or the student government budget. There is no such thing as a budget which you can have outside, which IE isn't a part of, especially when it's IE regulated events. That's exactly my point as to why I do not understand necessarily, you know, the whole idea of this 20,000 fund, which is outside, let's say, of the IE institution. Not only, I mean, it's you know, it's a great idea. It's great. It's what I like to call, or what Professor of Economics Guapo likes to call, a Kornikova argument. So essentially, it looks pretty, but it plays bad. So it's something which, you know, looks very nice, but it might be a little bit difficult to implement. That's my only concern with it. And it's not only your team. It's, and I'll get to the other teams right now. But yeah, if you want to just answer that, and then we can keep on going.
Yeah, 20 seconds to respond to that. I think that although I think this fund will not be under IE Watch, it will be under the Students Watch, and I think that's a very important thing to understand, is that although students will have full transparency of this fund, because it's their money at the end of the day, the event organizer during these official IE events are taking their money. So what if you actually had the vision of what is being done with your money? So I think we had the same economics teacher, this Mexican guy, Guapo. So I really like that. But unlike the Russian tennis player that he mentions all the time, I think it looks good and it plays good.
I guess we will move on to the next team, which I have on my list, Team White. I have one specific comment that I found just something about the proposal, and it's on the specific housing. Oh, something's going wrong. Yeah, it's on the specific housing agreement which you guys talked about, which I brought up actually during my mandate, I guess. There's something definitely wrong with the mics. Yeah, sorry. During a Stork debate, I was told that you know, I went on the Stork later that evening after the debate that student government had with the Stork, specifically with your academics officer, Adam Rose, which we were told essentially my idea behind the housing committee, aka the semi-monopolized cartel, which the tenants are currently enforcing in Segovian apartments. You know, whether that be either ridiculous prices or subpar living conditions. I was told that that was debunked, and essentially that prices had not moved and that housing had only gotten better. So I just want to know why and how your stance has changed since then. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. For Team Yellow, if you can hear me or if you can speak. If not, I can move on and we can try again. Yeah, I can hear you. So, with your team, you know, especially because your current president, you know, has worked, is essentially still a part of the current student government and knows how it works. I'd just like to get your points on the idea behind the bar, which I think a lot of students don't really understand, you know, that the bar isn't necessarily inside the university. And I just really want to make that clear that it's IE funded bars, subsidized bars outside of the university. And then I'd just like to talk about, you know, the idea of a poker tournament, and judging by the fact that how quickly we were vetoed essentially in our meeting with the administration on bars because IE couldn't be affiliated with alcohol, I just want to know how you guys think of convincing IE to endorse gambling.
Okay, so basically for the bar, we think that the importance of having it and the importance of pursuing this SG initiative is to have a place where all IE students can regroup. And as you said, because they have discounts as in El Saxo and in MB 37, they have discounts, they can reunite as IE, we can do special events there. It creates atmosphere of community, and as this is one of our greatest goal is to create the atmosphere of community, and we feel like the bar endorses that. And the second thing for poker is that basically money is not going to be involved. So what we were thinking of is like doing an event with open food and like drinks, but like wine, beer maximum, and you pay for a ticket to go there. You get awarded like 20,000 in chips, and you play to win a prize at the end. So depending on the number of people who would come to the event and would be interested in playing for that, then you'd win prizes depending on how much money we have and what prices could we invest in. And yes, but also you have to know that I wasn't prepared for the debate, so maybe I can't go really in depth with my answers, but our community developers can for sure detail this later, as it's an urgency that I came on.
Yeah, absolutely, Chloe. No one here is expecting an expert, in everything, but we just like to hear sort of what you have to say. Then, I saw that you guys had go-karts and the Olympics, the bowling tournament, and the music festival, and all these other, quite expensive initiatives, which I mean, on the same level as Victor's proposal, which we talked about earlier. I just want to know where you guys would find the budget for that, because, well, especially with the economic climate which is going on right now with Corona and everything, I just don't see IE using money to fund such, let's say, high investment events. So if you could elaborate on that specifically.
Basically, the events such as karting and the music festivals and everything we listed would be mostly self-sufficient. So a student that would spend a certain amount of money going to an event, maybe he would rather spend it on going to an IE event where we're going to try and do things, for example, like go-karting between IE people, making teams and making it as a fun tournament thing. Also for the music festivals, we were thinking of using Casa de la Moneda in Segovia, where we would have the music clubs or maybe other IE students that would want to perform anything that would just be like create also again with the IE bar spirit, create the community spirit and create events where all IE students would reunite with each other, get to know each other and expand the community more. And as of the IE Olympics event, it's basically also a continual of the proposal that we want to make games where IE students would compete, but not only like in the IE day where they basically compete for sports. Also, it would be a series of Olympic games that would involve player in the team or not on the team, and also like logical games and things like that.
Okay, thank you very much, Chloe. Now moving on to Team Red. I've found that your ideas about the spring ball and having it, chosen by the students and, proceeds going to charity. Once again, I've got some issues with that specifically just because, in the historic, let's say, allure, let's say, of the spring ball, of hosting the spring ball is, not knowing where it is, what the theme will be until the very end. And, they're quite a big danger, especially when you give everyone the option to choose, which is that if essentially people don't get or the specific, choice which people want is not elected, because you will see that there's administration does play a large role in that decision. I have a feeling that it might be out of your control as to how to market it and how to make it successful. And then with that being said, with the idea of the charity behind it, once again, I think idea, but at the same time, the way that student government and, campus life operate with respect to the spring ball is that half of let's say, the budget or the cost of the tickets, of renting out the place, of paying, all the catering, et cetera, is just from your specific tickets. It's from ticket sales. The other half comes from specifically the student government budget held with Campus Life. With that being said, I do not see how, because already 50 euros, and that's the cheapest ticket that we can afford to have, is quite expensive. I do not see how it would be possible to have, extra money coming out of there and going specifically to charity, at least not in that specific situation. So if you could elaborate on that.
Yeah, thank you, Matteo. Well, the first question, like we don't have to give them everything, like you can give them a piece of the chocolate, like a chocolate has, I don't know, 24 pieces, you give them one, you make them want to eat the whole chocolate, So basically let's say you would propose, do you want a sit-down dinner? Do you want this? Do you want this? You don't have to show the theme. You don't have to show everything, You just have to kind of include the IE community in organizing the spring ball and choosing the spring ball, like we've seen with the year of the theater. That after that, many students were actually quite disappointed in the way that it turned out because it wasn't what they expected. They were promised a lot of things, and at the end, they ended up with a party where they couldn't even see their friends. It was quite dark, and etc. With the second question, well, we're going to work on it. Like I understand that the campus life is quite strict when it comes to funding, and especially when it comes to exceeding the costs. However, we're going to try to find ways. We're not going to back off just because there is not a possibility now. Like you always have to fight for it. And it's for a good cause. So I don't think that we'll just stop on the statement. Yeah, it's not possible. Nothing is impossible. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Just one last question on behalf of your proposals, which I saw. The idea of having representatives for every ethics committee in place. That is very much a main key point of all ethics committees. There's always going to be a student government representative at every single ethics committee. That's just because there has to be a student representative there to see over and make sure that you are getting essentially a free trial. And with that said, it's very much standardized stuff. With in terms of plagiarism, IE is very strict, and rightly so. I wouldn't be the academics officer if I would endorse plagiarism. But with respect to the attendance, it's very much, there have been instances where the university, in exceptional cases, has shown a lot of leniency. So just with that, I just think that specific proposal is just a bit redundant to the current, let's say, IE institution.
No, look, nobody here is endorsing plagiarism. Like I've been at this university for 4 years. It's not something we're endorsing. What we're saying is that we are going to be on the student side. There is a lot of cases where students are let's say, somebody accuses them in the ethics committee and professors accuse them of plagiarism where actually they haven't done so, and they kind of create a bad image of that student. What we're trying to do is we're trying to help the students in that sense, to be behind the students rather than stamp them and brand them as plagiarists. That's a very hard thing to have on your shoulders. Now, on the other hand, with the attendance stuff, as I explained during the debate, the attendance is not, we are not going to force anybody to change, or any professor. And I don't think that is actually good for anybody to change professors' way of teaching and change the syllabus. We just want to make sure that students at the beginning of every year, as they know that, like the percentage that each segment of your grade is counted for, that whether participation, attendance would be counted towards participation. Some teachers do that, some teachers don't do that. The professors that do that usually don't tell students in advance, and what students get frustrated about is at the end of the semester they get a 7, even though they were attending the 70 required percent, and they were very attentive, but they didn't know that those 30% that they didn't attend, they would get a 0. So if the students know in advance, then there wouldn't be any problem. It's all about certainty and clarification.
Oh, perfect. Thank you very much. Yeah, final questions, and I'm targeting Team Gold, but this has been something that I've seen on a few of your Instagram pages, and it's about the idea behind increasing members of teams. The reason why we vote for 6 people and not 200 is for effective management, and although it's a very great idea, to increase democracy and whatnot, there is a reason why there are certain meetings which are held, behind closed doors and without including everyone. And those specifically, and it's more than anything because it's just very dangerous information if it goes out. So with respect to Team Gold, I heard, or excuse me, I saw on your Instagram pages that you guys plan on having larger teams and more people on board. But with that being said, don't you think, and this goes also to every other team out there, don't you think that by increasing your teams, you're essentially relinquishing control of your quote-unquote product? You're essentially giving off a lot of your decision-making power to people who weren't elected, who you guys only employed.
I'm guessing I'm going to respond to that. So first, in regards to making the teams bigger, our idea was relatively simple, which is collaborating with subcommittees, giving more voices to the student body. And that doesn't mean that we're going to lose power. At the end of the day, we're still the ones in charge with effective management, as you said. But for us to go after issues focusing on arts, focusing on sports, focusing on the social life, you need more people on board with you. And we accepted that fact, and we want to focus on collaboration with, again, the student body. If you want to take the example for sports, in order to focus on sports, you can't be, our team of 6 can't be constantly up to date and follow those issues. That's why we want to have qualified people on board, whether it's team leaders, club leaders, whether it's class reps, where we know that they are committed. And that ultimately, those expanded teams are going to make it easier for us to actually follow on and get things done. Therefore, we believe that making the teams better, not in the form of a parliament, because at the end I think could be a good idea, but we're still a university, making it far more complex. But I think with a certain form of selective subcommittees, effective change.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that was it for me. Once again, I'd like to thank everyone for running. This is a great initiative, and I wish you all the best. Ciao.
Thank you so much, Mateo, for sharing those very interesting insights from student government. I think it's valuable and fundamental that we had this discussion with Mateo, especially that he knows how student government works, as he has been trying to achieve, and he has actually, in fact, achieved great things. Moving on, we are in our last 15 minutes, and that will be 3 minutes for each one of you. Those 15 minutes will be as a big closing statement. You guys will be allowed to have to hold statements, to ask questions to each other, or simply to talk about your campaign as a whole. You can dispose of this time the way you want. You can ask questions, as I said before, raise statements, raise points. The floor will be yours. However, this will always be done in a moderated way, so please raise your hand before you speak, and until I give you the permission, you're not allowed to speak. Our 15 minutes would start right now. I see Salva's hands first. Do I have a second person that is willing to go? Okay, okay, that will be Salva, Lukas, and then we see for the rest. Salva, you have 3 minutes. You can go.
Yeah, well, thank you all for the debate. Thank you, Oussama. Thank you, the organizers. Thank you, people who were watching us debate for these, well, now already 2.5 long hours. Thank you, people who are active in the chat. I saw that there was a lot of things going on. Finally, you know, we are in a very, you know, specific situation right now, right? As we can see, we are having a debate on online and with issues like Team Gold had, Team Yellow had, sorry, with connectivity, and we see that we are going to face challenges in the future, and the uncertainty is going to be one of the greatest ones. And you know, we believe that our proposals, the ones we've talked about, the ones people who've been following know that I've mentioned them a lot of times. I'm just going to simply go through them in a very short way. You know, IE ambassador, greener IE, sports community, clear rules regarding participation and attendance, and finally the let's say fun one, the springboard choice of the students. Now, what I would like to express is I would like to you know, to remind you of our president Filiberto and our whole team. We are gonna try to do everything possible if we get elected since September. Of course, even though I didn't mention it, as Team Gold representative clearly did, we are going to be organizing the Freshers Week this year. I've heard that there was a bigger problem in Madrid organizing the Freshers Week. I hadn't had the possibility to attend, but my team members who did told me that it was a little bit, let's say, not very logistically organized. And I wanted to ask Team Yellow what was their take on that, since they have a current student government member in their team as president. Finally, you know, I would like to thank all of you again. I don't think there is anything I have to say anything. I'm open to questions from the team. I'm open to questions from the people on the group chat. You know, anybody who knows me knows that I'm a very approachable person. You can talk to me about anything, and I'll gladly talk to you. You know, and especially those ones in that had the chance to be with me in the same campus. Now next year I'll be fifth year. You know, I have a lot of experience in IE. I kind of know how things in IE work, and that's why I've decided to help Filiberto and his team, and our team now. Our team go and run for student government elections, and you know, as we say, it's time for greatness. Vote red. Thank you. I'll give you back the floor, Sam.
You still have 30 seconds in your time. Do you want to use it, or does anyone want to ask him questions in this 30 seconds that he can actually answer? Yes, Adimar, you'll be asking the question. You can go.
So something that I wanted to clear up on at the beginning was if you could thoroughly explain how the ambassadors will work. Would they be a sub-body of student government directly? Would they respond with student life, with campus life, just like the current ambassadors do, etc.?
Yeah. If I wasn't clear, I thought I was clear, but sorry.
You have 30 seconds to go. Can you make it in 30 seconds, please?
Yeah. Well, thank you. So first of all, the ambassadors would be, so this is how currently the IE, let's say, student body works. You have the classes, right? Every class elects 2 delegates. They go to the delegates meeting. In the delegates meeting, you have the representative of every class from every year. So you have, in Segovia, you have 3 dual degrees representatives. You have 2 BBA representatives. At the same time, you have the same amount in Madrid, even not, if not even more. Now, this university is growing, right? We have 16 degrees. We have at least 2 classes per degree. So what the ambassadors would be, they wouldn't coordinate with campus life. They would coordinate with specific departments. So let's say the class delegates of all the LLB programs, of all the LLB classes, they get together and they elect the 2 ambassadors that are going to be talking on, let's say, a monthly or a 2-month basis to the LLB team to express their doubts, their concerns, their inquiries about the LLB program, so that we have a bigger connection between the program and the school. Does that answer your question?
Thank you, Sava, for your clarifications. We will be taking Lukas accordingly, and afterwards, if you guys wanna actually be again on the list, please raise your hand. Lukas, it's time for you. 3 minutes.
Yes, thank you. Once again, thank you to everybody for participating, whether it's IU Stork, whether it's the old student government, whether it's the crowd, whether it's the fellow team members, whether it's the other part of this debate. At the end, I think we all have to remember that we're all in the same boat. Doesn't matter which team of us wins. I think it's fair to say that everybody will give their best and try to have the best result for this university. But I do believe that we should always remember certain things. And at the end, we're just a university. Yes, we are a very innovative university. I think one of the best in the world, very international. But there are also only a few things that we can do. While I would love to have the craziest events whatsoever, I believe that my team just wants to make sure that we can make the best of what we have. Mean that we focus on issues that already exist, not making more. Making we work with things that are working and continue expanding them. Making our E-leagues bigger, let them grow. At the end, I also believe it's about collaboration, unity with the student body. Taking advantage of what we have also means giving the voice to the people. Making sure that we have constant meetings, monthly basis, whether it's with feedback boxes with the student body, whether it's with class reps, whether it's with teachers. That's how success and change moves on, with communication. At the end, I believe that every team is capable of doing the job, but I certainly believe that my team, with all we've done so far, what we've been through, the experience we have, we're the most capable team. That's why you should vote Join Gold, Team Gold, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Lukas, for this amazing closing statement. Just a note, you still have 1 minute and a half. Do you want to use it? Does anyone want to ask him any question in this 1 minute and a half? Please do it now. I see there's no questions, right? Ricardo, was that a hand to ask a question? Yes, you can ask a question, please.
No, sorry, I mean, I don't have any question.
Oh, all right, cool. Moving on. Do we have a third person that is willing to make a statement? Yes, Lukas, you can say one more thing. You still have your time on.
Yeah, might as well make the best of the time. To all the people that showed up today, thank you very much. I hope you stay safe, make the best out of your time. We'll see each other soon. Hopefully be able to make the best out of your Freshers Week. But until then, stay healthy and take care.
Lovely, lovely. Who else wants to actually get a statement right now? I don't have anyone on the list. Can you please raise your hand if you want to make a statement? If not, I'll be asking some questions. We have Victor. All right, we have Ricardo. All right, Victor, you can go.
Oh yeah, so I'm going to be very short. Just wanted to tell you guys that. But first of all, thank you for debating today. I think we expressed a lot of ideas and it was really good. On another hand, I would say that I do understand the skepticism about all the ideas that we've proposed in Black Team. This is completely new. This is something that no one has done before. We understand that. We feel the problem, but somehow we want you to understand that so far, when doing something, the whole team delivered. I'm talking about Mohammed Fatih with his projects. I'm talking about everyone in this team, including me with the event. We delivered, and we actually already delivered some things. Yeah, that's pretty much all. This is not false premises. I swear to God that I wouldn't do that. I mean, it is in no one's interest. I believe we'd just be losing our time. So thank you, Sava. Thank you, Oussama. Thank you, Lukas. Thank you, Adimar. Thank you, Ricardo and Omar and the whole team for debating today. Thank you to the Stork. And I mean, if you have any question, I'd be super glad to hear it. Yeah, throw it at me. Throw it, whatever you have.
Thank you so much, Victor, for your statement. Now we'll be taking Ricardo's statement, and maybe Adimar, do you want to make a final statement? Yes, so afterwards we're going to have Adimar. Ricardo, you can go. Your 3 minutes are on right now.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you to the Stork. Thank you to the debate club. Thank you to every team that is running, because I think that this demonstrates that every student in that team, in every team, wants to change this university, and that's why we are here.
I firmly believe that actually giving back to the community what the community has given you is the best way to contribute with your student body. And that's why I am here. That's why Matthew is here. That's why Maria Laura is here. Although all my team is not present right now, although we try to be in the debate with several changes of the speaker, I know that their compromise with IE University is spectacular. That's why they have been involved since the beginning, since they entered this university with the student body. That's why I'm here. I ran last year. Fortunately, I won. But let's remember Chloe Atye. Chloe Atye is a member of our team. She will be the next academics officer in Madrid. And she ran last year with Team Green. And although she lost, she still ran again, because that's who we are. And that's why we firmly believe that change here at university actually can be done. Next, I know that Victor asked me where was I during the whole year. I was planning things here in Segovia. I was putting all my effort in the ethics committee that I assisted to defend more than one student of our student body. I firmly believe that public service, and especially the service that I can give to the university, is what I should do to give back how much I have grown in this place. And I'm sure that my team thinks the same. I thank all the teams and everyone that actually participated in this debate, and I hope to see you in the next debate, because obviously challenges are what make humans great. And today we faced an electricity cut. We weren't able to actually talk all of our proposals. It was unfortunate, and we are really sorry about this. We are sure that you understand. Actually, from my person, from Ricardo Ambrosio, as a fellow student, I actually want to say sorry because of all of these inconveniences. I assure you that all the passion and effort that we demonstrated in the campaign and in our Instagram, that you can check it out, by the way, in IE Yellow Team in Instagram, I'm sure that demonstrates you what we want to do for our university. Maybe this debate didn't go as well as we planned, but I'm sure the next will, because that's who we are and that's what represents us. We believe that everyone here has a different idea, but everyone agrees that we need change in this university, and especially that bureaucracy is affecting every life. Thank you very much. Thank you, the IE community, and I hope to see you in the next debate.
Thank you, Ricardo, for your statement. Now we have 3 minutes for Adimar. Adimar, the floor is yours.
Perfect. Thank you, Oussama. I once again want to thank everybody who has been a key asset for this debate to happen, and also the fellow team candidates as well. One of the things that we as Team White wanted to highlight was something that has been brought up to us. The reason why we made an emphasis of why we were a female majority team was because at the end of the day, we've seen throughout our political and reality now that female representation is something that is needed, and we're not devaluing the efforts of the other female candidates and the other teams, or the efforts of all the gentlemen here present. We just wanted to highlight that as a proud thing. Also, something else that we want to say to you is that as Team White, if you vote for Team White, you're voting, like I mentioned earlier, for a passionate group of students that are willing, and I can for sure attest to the fact that they have an immense capacity to implement all of the proposals that we're bringing to the table. We have had past experiences, whether it be in our hometowns, working with politicians, NGOs, also people, we have people that have been involved in IE since day one, and we want to represent every type of individual that makes part of IE. We don't want to be exclusive, we want to be inclusive and clear for you to, in a way, also be a part of every decision-making process that is being taken for you. Because we, like I said, we are part of IE, and IE needs to represent us as such, and that's why our proposals are based on the fact of communication and transparency and honesty. Because we want you to, if we do something that is not working for you, we want you to tell us and hold us accountable to it, so we can not only grow, but we can also then make our commitment to IE better. So vote Team White, because at the end of the day, what we want is make it clear for you. Thank you.
Well, thank you, everyone. I see that no one has. Lukas, you have a statement to make. Yes, you have the floor. Only 30 seconds left, but yes, you can go.
Exactly. Don't need much more. Just want to point out that, again, thank you to everybody, but make sure that you go out and vote, because at the end of the day, you're the one that makes the decision. You're the one that's voting. Doesn't matter at the end for who, preferably Team Gold, but at least go out and vote and voice your opinion.
That is a very, very important and nice note. Sava, you raised your hand. Did you have a point? No. All right. Well, with this debate coming to an end, I want to say I'm very honored to have been moderator of this debate, and very humbled because I see that you guys have actually taken the time to draft down proposals and get your voice out there. And as someone that was running last year for elections, I see that there's more teams every single year, and that makes me very, very happy to see that people are actually taking the time and believing community service to serve their community and to make the IE community a better place. With that being said, I would like to thank you all for the time you have spent. This has been a good long hours, even though we have gone overtime. I would like to thank Clint for making this possible, and Campus Life team, also the debate club for assisting with all the technicalities, and finally the Stork for making sure that this has been marketed the right way and this has been done in the right way too. With this being said, I wish you guys all good luck, and may the best team win. Thank you all.